I've been on mute this whole time. Oh, well, you learn as we go, innit? Okay, cool. There we go. Cool. So, um, yeah, I didn't say anything particularly important then that I need to repeat. I was just waiting for the thing to actually come live. Sometimes it takes a while, but in this case, I actually fired up quite quickly. Right, so on this one, I'm trying something a little bit different. I've got the music coming through um, internally, and I've no idea whether it's going to be too loud or too low that it will be indiscernible in the background. Um, but yeah, just trying things out, you know. Okay, so yeah, this is a follow up to I suppose yeah the recording that I made not that long ago, a few hours back actually. At the time of recording this, it is the new year. Well, it's gone past midnight now. It's actually the 2nd of January. But yeah, so welcome, um, live viewer. Oh, there's actually two people watching live. Yeah, welcome, live viewer. And welcome, folks who are going to be watching this, you know, in the future. So replay viewers. So yeah, as I said, this is just a kind of like a follow up, right? The theme here is the idea of money, uh, and sort of money saving, and yeah, the difference between fiat and crypto. So the idea with currently, which is the idea behind this program, is to take sort of like current events and sort of show how crypto sort of answers, provides a solution, right? It's not going to be every single current event, but there's some interesting ones which I've been seeing, which I'm like, okay, actually, a bunch of them make sense, and so it's contextual or timely. So at the moment, it's New Year. The idea of like money saving makes sense, to sort of highlight, and so that's what this is. And so, actually, wait, hang on. If I'll just come into chat here, if you're watching this, let me know if you can hear the music um, at all, or whether it's too loud, because I have no idea whether it's too loud or whether you can hear it at all. Um, yeah, so if you can be bothered, the two people who are apparently viewing this, if you're not bots, yeah, just let me know. So, yeah, quick article here. This in many ways, this here actually speaks about, it kind of states the obvious in some places, right? Where the headline here is, to save, you have to, for a period of time, you have to, in a way, deprive yourself of of some things which can be seen as luxuries or things that you think you need, but really you just want them, you don't need them, right? So it's really about sort of cutting down luxuries, and this one specifically it's quite geared to the female. It's a mom, as you'll see. We'll go through the article further down, but either way, like, I think it's still, it touches on a few things which I think are actually quite universal and helpful to just kind of go through, and yeah, and have a bit of a conversation about. And then afterwards, we'll have a look at the money side of things, and yeah. So actually, a quick aside that I forgot to mention in the first video is what's interesting about this, right? So this particular publication is a tabloid, and if you think of it, they aren't actually. It's not in the best interest to tell people to save, because it's in their best interest to get people to purchase, I suppose, which is why it says it's more geared towards buying, right? Should purchase. So it's like, buy this stuff to save, kind of thing, right? Because if you think of tabloids or publications, they make, majority of them make money through advertising, right? And advertisers don't have money if people aren't buying stuff, right? So it's a bit of a weird one, and I suppose maybe because of the time of year, they figure, okay, let's just sort of do a little social bit. And yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. um but yeah, okay, so mum who saved £25,000 with a no buy year reveals the things you should purchase to save money next year. So again, I'm not going to go through this whole thing. You're just going to skim through it. Right, so a mum who saved £250,000 by committing to a no buy year. So the idea is like, no buy meaning no superfluous expenses, has revealed the things you should buy to save you money in the long run. So she's a YouTuber basically, Lara Joanna Jarvis. Yeah, Jarvis. I was about to say Jarvis. Jarvis, who is known for her budgeting tips and tricks, sharing them on her YouTube channel, committed to a no-buy year in 2019, spending money on essential purchases. Right. So 2019. So throughout 2019, so at the end of 2020, no, at the beginning of 2020, she had basically, if I'm reading this right, she had already saved 25 grand. Um, so after this article, we'll go back and see had she or had they, because it's basically spoiler. Um, all of this is not just her; it's her and her, between her and her husband. Collectively, they're able to save this much. So yeah, we'll go back and have a look at basically, at the end of 2019, so beginning of 2020, how they put this in crypto, like where would they be today, kind of thing. Okay, so reveal things you should buy. Okay, so her husband Stuart also taking part. The pair were able to save 25 grand to put towards their first home together. Uh, in a new video, she explained how you can do the same in 2021. However, Lara says that there are a few things that you should buy to save you money in the long run. Here, top things helping you to cut back on spending. So, an eco egg can save you hundreds on laundry. So, in this article, further down, she speaks about this weird thing, an eco egg, which sounds like something that is used for something else. But it's basically something that you buy and you put in the washing machine to wash your clothes. Um, and apparently it's sort of eco-friendly and supposed to get you to spend less on, yeah, I suppose, yeah, detergents kind of thing. And okay, so buying seeds. Okay, so basically just buying seeds to sort of grow your own food, like in little plants. I'm not really sure how much money this can actually save. I mean, like maybe you can create like, oh, you can have like coriander or hives or something, like not that much. Yeah, an individual can't be able to do that much, especially if you're living, say, in a city, right? So yeah, not entirely sure about the seeds one. Although seeds in the bigger picture, like from agricultural standpoint, like it's super important. Buy a coffee flask, right? Okay, super important. This basically just goes to speak to the people who sort of like go to coffee shops, Starbucks, Costa, etc., Pret, and just keep buying hot drinks or mostly coffee, right? So further down, she referenced, I don't know why she didn't batch these up, like she talks about coffee here, then further down talks about coffee machine, and then further down talks about separately Starbucks and Costa. But yeah, so anyway, that's the idea there, right? So depending, and people drink a lot of coffee. I'm not a coffee drinker myself, but just from kind of association, I've come to see how much coffee people drink and how much they spend on it. And then here, tools. This one's an interesting one. Basically, buy tools and equipment for jobs so you can do them yourselves around the home. You can use YouTube videos and actually learn to do the jobs yourself. This is actually quite cool and interesting because, just a quick aside, actually, this here is a shell of a phone. This is sort of like another part of it. Um, I actually, I actually did this where I had this phone that I needed to fix, and I did it myself. I got the spare parts and the tools to actually open it up and stuff, and yeah, I did it myself. And me being me, at times I am a bit what's the word I'm looking for? Hard-headed. So I was like, no, I am gonna do this myself. And so I started to do it myself, and I got to a point where I was like, okay, I'm stuck. So I actually went to YouTube and looked up a video, and lo and behold, there were a whole bunch of videos about this particular phone, about doing this particular thing. So yeah, it's quite a wealth, and also you just get to and I did actually, unlike me taking apart my toys when I was a kid and not being able to actually put them back together. I was actually able to put this phone back together again. These are sort of parts which are non-essential. Well, this is basically the back cover, and the other bit is basically to be thrown away. But yeah, so tools, very important. You get a great sense of like achievement and purpose. National Trust Pass. Okay, these are cool. Basically, from my understanding, if I've got this right, this allows you to go like into I think particular museums as well as like parks, like botanical gardens and that kind of thing, like Kew Gardens and that kind of thing. Yeah, so she just says like, yeah, it's good. Pack a picnic every now and then. Let's see, hot food container again. This is like the hot beverage flask. Uh, okay, gel nail kit. Okay. Again, specific. I mean, but then like 25 quid, like that's a lot of money. Um, Slow cooker again. Food. You'll notice that food comes up a lot here. Like a lot of time and money is spent on food. Right, so if you've got to go out, yeah, so basically just buy a slow cooker and just throw stuff in there and can gradually cook. That's what she was communicating there. Eco egg, again, this is the laundry thing that we spoke about earlier. It costs about like 8 quid apparently, and it saves you. It lasts for ages. Let's see again. This is what I said. Coffee machine, Costa, Costa pods, etc. Eyebrow tint. Eyebrow tint. Yeah. Okay. Again, specific to upkeep, physical upkeep. Menstrual cup. Again, quite gender specific. Had a girlfriend who had one of these. My review is good idea, but the execution is poor. But yeah, good idea, I think. But poor execution. Let's see. So reusable makeup wipes. Okay, again, quite specific. Hair removal machine. So majority of these are sort of services that, if you require them, you'd then go out to a salon or something to have them done, and because of everything that the salon has to factor in the expenses from commercial rent, which is expensive, to the price of actually having staff on hand, etc., and the fact that they're not usually completely booked, right? So there's a bunch of downtime. All of that has to be factored in, right? So all of that then gets translated into the cost of the people, the few people who actually do come in to get service, I suppose. Rail card. Okay, she breaks it down quite interestingly here. So it's about £30 for one, and yeah. So my train into London is £30, and the National Rail Card gives her 30% off. So basically, after like 3 uses, she's up to like 90%. After the fourth use, she's now actually saving. Um, yeah, so I get it for 20. pounds, meaning in just 3 journeys I have made my journey back, or my money back, excuse me. And every other journey, the rest of the year, I'm saving a third. So yeah. Um, okay, let's have a look. Spending habits, ditch impulse purchases. Yeah. She advises sit on a purchase for like 30 days. At the end of it, you'll realize it was actually just, a impulse or superfluous buy. Take food. Okay. Now here's a point. An interesting point here. Take food inventory before you do your shop. You probably already have it. That as well as meal plan, right? Meal plan, plan meals, meal plan meals. These two things, like again, coming back to this idea of how much time and money food takes. I mean, makes sense to a certain extent because it's the equivalent of human fuel, right? We need it to actually operate. Um, but actually being smart about it, right? Like you don't actually uh, a good sort of trick here or hack is don't spend time actually going to the supermarket. Just buy it online, and sort of create some sort of a looping purchase because a lot of the arguments against sort of grocery shopping, I suppose, online is, oh, I won't get to like feel my fruit and veg, and it's really not a thing. Like I've done this for years. Like bought my food online, and if you're so worried about it, just like when they deliver it, have a look at the fruit and veg. If it's all mangled, say, hey, I'm not gonna accept it, right? It's and soon enough, like you'll be getting fresh stuff, if not on the next one, right? They actually keep an eye on these things. So and then he just speaks about shop your wardrobe, basically. Like a lot of people buy clothes which they don't actually really need or even end up using, so they just have a closet full of clothes which they don't actually use. So reusable nappies, again, going back to this idea of reusability, right? From the menstrual cup to these as well. Reusable batteries, right? Battery charger. If you have like AAA or what is it, AAA or AA batteries, if you have devices that even use that anymore. Anyway, yeah, so yeah, buy a battery charger for that. Frozen branded food. Okay, or just basically frozen food. I don't know why she chose to get specific. Maybe it's what is it, a sponsored content there. Audiobook club. Okay, audiobooks really cool. Although I know some people are quite sticklers for like the physical printed book, but I personally really like audiobooks because I could just sort of like listen to them and I find like I think deeper about it when I'm actually just listening to the book as opposed to personally reading it, and it works out in terms of money. It works out better in the long run. Uh, Again, I think that's most likely a a sponsored thing. TV subscription. Okay, this is yeah obvious. She mentions TV license here. I don't know anyone who pays for TV license. Like, majority of folks just like watch stuff like Netflix, etc. And that's what she's basically sort of getting at there. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this whole thing. The main takeaway here is basically food's a huge thing, and food is huge, and you can sort of optimize around that. And wait, let me see what I wanted to jump to next. I wanted to jump to over. Okay, yeah. So let's go back to the top here, where we talk about this. So yeah, food is a huge thing, and other things that you can actually like have recycled, or sort of reused. That's another place to optimize around. Right. So now we'll just copy in. Okay, we didn't need to actually copy the pound sign. I'll copy that 25,000. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna hop on over to our trusty little widget, right? So this is gonna allow us to to see how much. Let's just quickly change the currency here. It's going to allow us to see how much that 25 grand at the end of 2019, had that been put into crypto, how much would that be now at the beginning of 2021, right? So how much would it have accrued value during 2020, right? The crazy year that was 2020. So so I'll just click on that to change it to I invested, come here, paste the 25 grand in there, and we'll start with the obvious one, Bitcoin here. And in terms of the date, we'll go to 2020. Oh, come on. Don't let me down. So, yeah, purchased January 2020. Yeah, let's go for the first. Okay, so now 25 grand of Bitcoin bought January 1st, 2020. Keep in mind what a volatile year 2020 has been. That would now be worth basically 100 grand. It'll be worth 100 grand today. That's like 4x. It's crazy. It's crazy. Now, they used it most likely for deposit for house, which they're gonna be paying. They're gonna, be paying that mortgage off. I don't know, like 10, 20, maybe even 30 years. Yeah, I don't know. So the point here is consider what assets you want to sort of get into, considering where things are sort of headed. Right. Okay. So yeah, but I feel like that kind of makes the point. But let's just quickly try a different cryptocurrency here and see. Okay. Okay. So Bitcoin was around 100, and yeah, if it had purchased Cardano or ADA, yeah, that would be worth not just 100 like Bitcoin was, but 132. So 132 grand, or actually closer to 133, basically rounded up. So actually, let's take this, right. Let's have a look at what percentage was. Let's come here to calculate from 25,123 to that. Calculate, yeah. So it's around 430% increase. Anyway, super appreciation there. So we're just gonna quickly do that. So whilst we're at it, we'll just quickly jump to here, and yeah, kind of go over this again. I went over it in the last video. So the key thing here is obviously you've got the fiat currency represented here by the dollar, and then at the bottom you've got the cryptocurrency represented by Bitcoin, or the US dollar, should I say. And the idea here is that, inflation basically means more money that is printed, means that the purchasing power is diluted over time, right? So more money means each person is able to buy less with their money, right? Which is why you can see here in 1929, you're able to buy, a trolley full of things. In 1960, half a trolley. And in 2014, only 2 or 3 items. And then, conversely, in 2012, 1 Bitcoin bought you 2 or 3 items. The following year, right, just 1 year after that, 2013, 1 Bitcoin bought you half a trolley of things. The year after that, 2014, it bought you a full trolley, like, bursting out the seams. Yeah, and then basically the appreciation just sort of, carries on of that. And then obviously here, they sort of made a joke, right, where in 2020, $20 buys you a carton box or yeah, home basically made out of the carton. And then here you've got, you know, Lambo and a whole bunch of trolleys around it. So anyway, that is, yeah, just a sort of a quick sort of contextual difference. And so actually, whilst I have that up, I'll just sort of I suppose summarize this, right? So the key takeaway from this video is a great way forward is not just saving. Saving is only one bit of it, right? It doesn't make sense if you save and those savings are basically gradually losing value, right? Because they're in a an asset or in a form that is losing purchasing power, right? Because more and more of that is being made. Crypto doesn't have that, right? For example, Bitcoin and ADA um, have a fixed supply. This is super, super important because this means that money printing is not possible, right? And as we've already seen, you know, money printing basically means, yeah, people could technically have more of the currency, but in having more of the currency, it actually loses its value, right? Yeah. So you want to be able to position yourself where you're able to kind of, you know, tighten your belt, so to speak, gradually save up, and then as you're saving, actually get that energy, I suppose, into a productive asset, right? Which, worst case scenario, you're actually, worst case, you're retaining value, right? You're not losing value. Best case scenario, you're not just retaining value, but it's actually the value is actually growing, right? So, yeah. So, you know, again, you know, going back to the idea of time and trust, right, which are fundamental to crypto, right? Time is money, and trust is wealth. That's the idea that that cast, you know, is trying to sort of double down on, right? Um, so go over to cast.live. If you found this valuable, go over to cast.live, and here you're able to tap on this little button here, which is subscribe to calendar. This is awesome because it actually allows you to directly, you know, have access to the schedule of the programming that is going to be coming in the future. At the moment, you know, as you can see up here, or you probably can't see, but yeah, it's still in the alpha version, which means that, you know, it's still very sketchy. But yeah, you know, so I'm still trying out these programs. But the idea here is, you know, for example, here, you know, you can see all this sort of, well, this is an old graphic, but some ideas of the different programs that would be coming on. So, like, for example, you know, you have a program illustrating how to start a pool, and all that, and all that that entails. Talking about tokenomics, talking about right, ecosystem economics, etc. But also think like governance as well, right? Governance super important. Then you've got catalysis there, which is about like um, I was gonna say prototyping. That's different. That's this over here. Catalysis, that's about the Catalyst Fund, right? It's basically sort of like a crowd fund for ideas, and you know, you can sort of come along and propose an idea, and you know, the community sort of discuss it, help you improve it, and you get funds to actually go and realize it, if you know, if people like it and they vote for it. And then down here you've got proto, which I just sort of mentioned in passing here. Yeah, where we just sort of prototype stuff and look at design and how um, crypto fundamentally changes the nature of design and sort of incentive design, and how that relates to the interface, but also the back end, right? So it's not just the front, but the back. Yeah, and all sorts of fun stuff. So yeah, there's like onboarding, L 10N or Lion, which is localization. Having conversations about how to actually include, uh, more and more of a broader demographic, right? Because the whole world doesn't just speak English. But yeah, so yeah, go ahead, tap on this, or yeah, just come to cast.live. So CAAAST.live. Yeah, tap on this. It'll bring up your calendar, and then yeah, you'll be able to basically have it show up in your calendar on your device, or within your email kind of thing. And then additionally, I mean, if you want to hear all the different places where you can actually connect with this idea, and give feedback, and ultimately even maybe contribute in a future stream, not just in the comments but also possibly here, like with your face next to mine, but obviously probably at a distance. Yeah, so YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Twitch, D Live, and Discord. So yeah, you can go over there. If you prefer to have these be the way that you connect, go ahead. Follow, subscribe, or like, or whatever um, word that they use. And yeah, but then, as I said, like ultimately, because most of these aren't really reliable in terms of sending out a a notification, I would advise you to basically go for the decentralized version, because that's what we're about here: decentralization, self sovereignty. Yeah, tap on the subscribe. Yeah. So, in summary, save. Don't leave your savings in an environment where it's basically losing its purchasing power. Strongly consider, um, putting into crypto. And if you've got questions about, about crypto and stuff, right, yeah, reach out to me or anyone else who you trust, who would have your best interests at heart. Because some people just like tell you, yeah, buy this thing, because they're looking to have a whole bunch of people buy, and for them to sell. So trust is super important. So time is money, trust is wealth. Make time, build trust. Thanks for watching. I'll see you around.